Absolutely. So I'm Allie Storty. I live in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and I am a sales leader, and I recently got a new job as the director of US and Canada sales.
Woohoo!
Woo.
Congratulations. We're so stoked for you.
Well, thank
And we'll get to
you.
that. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm wondering if you could maybe just start by talking about where you were in your job search or your career search before you came into Career Amp. So what was happening that maybe prompted you to get some help?
Sure. I was probably about a month into my search and was having a little bit of success with my resume, but not as much success scoring interviews. So I get like that first initial call. People give me really good feedback on my resume, but I wanted to like level it up quickly. And part of the reason I joined Career Amp was I knew I also wanted to take a bigger jump in my career. So I was going from being like a regional sales leader, and I wanted to level up to a director or senior director of like a US sales team. And so thought the coaching and support would be essential in that next move.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, we usually find people that join us in a couple of different arenas. It's like they just started or they're a little bit down the line. So, and they need a partner hip to hip. So I totally get it. So tell me, like, as you were evaluating different coaching partners or programs to go with, what was important to you about finding one that was ultimately going to be the match for you?
Yeah, frankly, I didn't look into a lot, but I was your Facebook ad caught my eye, and the reason it was because of like the coaching element, and so that's something that I find a lot of value in is just having good coaches throughout my lifetime, being an executive coach, things like that, and so like that jumped out at me right away and pretty much sealed the deal early on.
That's awesome. That's great. And we're so glad you did it. We're glad that our paths crossed as well. But would you like what would you say when you hopped into the program because you joined, you hopped in. What would you say was like an aha moment in your first couple of weeks in the program that you noticed, or maybe like a small win once you got inside?
Sure. I would say that after my first coaching session, that was kind of a milestone for me. Just framing up the way I uh, say my accomplishment statement, the source stories. It's like I had nuggets of those things already created, but like just kind of reframing the way I talk about myself, some of the language around that. I would say that was kind of something that really launched me to the next level.
Love it. That's great. Yes,
Mhm.
and source stories are powerful. Although, once you understand the model, it's like, oh, this is basic, but it makes a ton of sense and it makes a big impact. So that's great. Okay, and what would you consider your biggest wins? Obviously, you got this shiny new gig, which we're so stoked for you about. Would you consider that your biggest win, or would you consider it something else along the way?
I would say that is definitely my biggest win. And then more recently, I've gotten some pretty incredible job opportunities as a result. So I think like the constant networking component helped land multiple different options. And so that was probably the biggest win is just to know that like I can get a job as at sort of a higher level than I was before through my interview
Yeah.
skills and my experiences.
Yes, and we can like separate the narrative that we have forming in our head about what we can and can't do with I said it with big quotation. And then we put some effort behind it and put proof in the pudding, and then we start to see the fruits of our labor come back. It really helps like create a different narrative about what we tell ourselves what we can and can't achieve. Does that resonate with you at all? Or
Absolutely, 100%. This experience gave me that boost of confidence to like reach for the next thing.
that's so cool. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
just got chills. That's amazing. All right, last
Yes.
question here, Ali, is if you were or if someone was watching this conversation and maybe they are on the fence on whether or not they want to join Career Amp, what would you tell them or what would you want them to hear from you?
I would tell them that the coaching element was really instrumental in my own journey. And so I've shared with a couple of friends who've recently been in layoff situations that the power in the coaching was extremely helpful for me. And then I also would say that what I learned about the power chats kind of really launched me to the next place. So those are the two pieces. If they're looking for something different, those would be kind of the differentiators that I would share and have shared with them. Definitely a great experience. I appreciated the level of coaching I got. I know I said that several times, but that has really been instrumental. And then the person who wrote the resume, I also just want to give her kudos too, because I've worked with other resume writers before where I've had more success in like creating my own. And she was able to really like frame up what I was trying to get at in a way that it made sense to me. And, took multiple attempts, but I appreciated her investment in that.
That's awesome. Yes, iterative
Mhm.
process indeed, but I'm glad that it was a good result. Well, thank you so much, Ali, for spending time with us today, and congratulations again on your new gig.
Thank you so much, AJ. And it was a pleasure meeting you along the way.